I now call this meeting of the Benton County Board of Education to order. We have the prayer before the reception for new teachers. Will you please join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Miss Michelle, please call roll. Mr. Thornton.
Here.
Mr. Hargis.
Here.
Mr. Livingston.
Here.
Mr. Winters. Mr. Hyatt.
Here.
Miss Kennan. Here. Miss Arnold. Here. Mr. Hedge.
Here.
Mr. Mills.
Here.
Miss Douglas. Here. Mr. Marks. Mr. Peach.
Here.
11 present, 1 absent. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Remember, with this, we are going to approve the agenda and the consent agenda, which includes the approval of July minutes, the approval of substitutes attending back benefits, and the approval of overnight trips for CHS cross country to Huntsville, Alabama, 9/13 through 14, and Pullman, Alabama, 10/4 to 10/5. And you have a list of the substitutes to be approved.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
A second. We have a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda. Is there any discussion? Any amendments? If not, we will vote. All those in favor of approving tonight's agenda and consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Ayes have it. Motion to approve the agenda passes. Next on our agenda is the approval of all of these policies on the second reading. We have a copy of all of them. I think it's behind.
It's in there.
It's in the very back. And these have holes in them, so remember, this is our final.
Motion to approve. Second reading.
We have a motion to approve on the second reading. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to approve these policies on their second reading. Is there any discussion?
Remember the Narcan, the nurses did look over that. There's some procedures that they adjusted, but as far as policy, Ms. Kayla and the nurses were good with that. And then the AI policy, just pretty much all the directors from Northwest especially have agreed to adopt the TSBA policy, and then obviously we'll just continue to monitor that, but definitely be a moving target. So then we discussed all of these at our policy meeting in July.
And we have a copy of the code of conduct,
Yes.
the policy and the actual code.
Yes, there is a policy in there that requires the code of conduct, and then the next item is to approve that.
Question while we're asking. We have a policy that says we have to have that code of conduct. Correct, what you're saying?
Yes,
And it's in this,
it is.
okay.
I'll have to look, it's actually added to one of our current policies. But the legislation voted, that is now law of July 1, that you have to have a code of conduct.
It's policy 6.300 about. Any more discussion?
Do we have a plan yet for the fire alarm? Is that still
No, so we have to January 1, so we're kind of still waiting on guidance, Mr. Mills, for that. But that's such a good question, because January 1 will be here before we know it. But Mr. Phelps and I have met with the state. The state is putting some resources out there, then obviously we'll have to meet with local officials to work that out.
Anything else? If not, Ms. Michelle, will you please call roll? Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Hargis?
Yes.
Mr. Livingston?
Yes.
Mr. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Ms. Kennan? Yes. Ms. Arnold? Yes. Mr. Hedge?
Yes. Again, that's a lot of big words.
Mr. Mills?
Yes.
Ms. Douglas? Yeah. Mr. Marks?
Yes.
Mr. Beach?
Yeah.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 12 yes. And with 12 yeses, the motion to approve the policies passes. They have holes in them, they go in your notebook. Next on the agenda is the approval of the 24-25 Code of Conduct for Families, Volunteers, and Visitors. We saw this at a policy meeting, right?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Second, Denmark.
We have a motion and a second to approve this code of conduct. Is there any discussion?
Chairman Kennedy, Chair Kennedy, I'm sorry. We sent this to the principals and had them review it to make sure they felt comfortable with enforcing all the levels. If you'll remember, this come from Chuck Cagle as a sample, as a draft, and Dr. Shannon helped us tweak it a little bit, and then we sent it out to the principals, and they all agreed that they could work with this. So it's on the website. We can change it, adjust it as it goes, but it is on the website. But we do need board approval.
Any further discussion?
Just one more question. Does the parents have to, they go on the website and get the, that's where they can see it, but that's where that's where it's gonna be at. Okay.
Any further discussion? If not, we will vote. All those in favor of approving the 24-25 Code of Conduct for Families, Volunteers, and Visitors, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. Ayes have it. We have approved the Code of Conduct. Next on our agenda is the approval of the Building, Property, and Maintenance Committee report.
At that meeting, but really it's just a recognition that we've begun to solicit information and no action taken, but we're gathering.
The Building, Property, and Maintenance Committee met on Tuesday, July the 16th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. in the Board of Education Sports Center conference room. Those present were myself, Shauna Kennan, Mark Hargis, Judy Arnold, Betty Jo Douglas, Marco Winters, Tim Pike, Brent Hedge, Brad Mills, Justin Thornton, Travis Pierce, who was our Camden Elementary School maintenance, Mark Clark, Director of Schools, Bobby Cox, is with ESG, and Jeremy Childish was with ESG. We met to discuss the following items, which was the possibility renovating Camden Elementary School with the ESG group, and we also discussed the Briarwood roof project. And this is the recommendation for the committee.
We have a recommendation to approve this committee report. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this Building, Property, and Maintenance Committee report. Is there any discussion?
Chair Kennedy, we had planned actually that next week to send maintenance of Mr. Holland and Mr. Pierce to Bolivar. They're currently renovating their high school now, so we're still going to do that. I have it in the director's report, but I think it's something we need to talk about. Is it something we want to continue to look into? I think it's worth at least looking into with the difference in the cost, but that's all I have.
Any further discussion?
Well, I agree, Mr. Lawrence, with talking with those fellas. There was too many times they said, well, we'll just tear that out. And that scares me with us having school, but we'll just tear that out, you know. And I know the renovation is so much economically better than the building a new school. And Lord knows we need something over there. And I'm just kind of reserved on that. Well, we'll just tear it out. So I just wanted to express the way I felt about it, because I like what they said. I like their plans. I like everything that they told us. Those little words, we'll just tear that out, put something else up there. You know, we got kids over there, you know, so
I agree.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, we will vote. All those in favor of recommendation to approve the Building Property and Maintenance Committee report, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. We have approved that. Ayes have it. Next on the agenda is the approval of the Executive Committee report, and I will read that. The Executive Committee of the Benton County Board of Education met on Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. A recommendation was made to approve the updated 24-25 school calendar. The start date was moved to August the 2nd due to the election, and August 1st was changed to a stockpile staff development day. All approved. Members present were Sean Hennig, Chair and Director of Schools, Mark Lawrence. I don't know who Shannon is.
Did I put Shannon again?
Shannon,
I do that all the time. Thanks. Spell check.
Do we have, I do recommend this. Since it's already happened. Do we have a motion to approve this? Motion to approve. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to approve the executive committee report. All that, do we have any discussion? Do you want to explain this report?
I called all of you, but a lot of thought went into having school on election. You know, we had one election that was contested. We didn't feel like there were being issues. I do feel like probably the events that happened a couple of weeks before the election probably had something to do with the call that I received from Homeland Security out of Nashville, and basically the email we received, it said that obviously Tennessee Code Annotated allowed you to have school when you use the school facilities as voting precincts, but we would recommend that you not have school. Well, it kind of put us against the wall, so we contacted the state and we just adjusted our calendar. It will not be any more work days for anyone, no more days for kids. So we adjusted the calendar. You'll see it's that stockpile day was on August 1st, and then now January 6th is just no school. That's the only change.
Any further discussion on this committee report?
a comment or question is, Mr. Beasley still open to having elections outside of our school limits?
We talked about it early in his term. I will tell you, as soon as the presidential election's over, I think it's something we need to start working on really hard. And the first person we need to call is Homeland Security and our local law enforcement, and get our local officials involved, because we're past the point. We have no problem with anyone using our school buildings, but if we do have facilities throughout the county that we can use as voting precincts, which I do believe there's plenty, then we need to look into that. So I would say as soon as the general election is over in November, I think that would be a good time for us to get with the election commission and hopefully start those discussions.
Okay, because if we have improved how agreeable we are in this county, this school system, because it seems like we've been over backwards a lot of times. And that's a good thing. Sure. I mean, but with the way things are going, getting elections out of our school buildings might not be a bad idea at all.
Well, in some years, it's a 3 or 4 day calendar changing, but I will tell you this, and I work for you, but as long as you have me as director, my recommendation will be never to have school again on election day, obviously. But hopefully we can, and we have some good people there that we can work with, but that's something that I think we do need to work hard on after the November election.
Any further discussion? If not, we will vote. All those in favor of approving this executive committee report, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. We have approved that committee report. Next on our agenda is the approval of the revised calendar that we just talked about.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve the revised 2024-25 calendar. Any discussion on this? Any further discussion? If not, we will vote. All those in favor of approving the revised 24-25 district calendar, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. Ayes have it. We have approved that revised calendar. Next on the agenda is the approval of budget resolutions. And there are several, 3 different. No,
You gonna read it?
there, I will.
Motion to approve.
We have a second. Do we have a second? Motion and a second to approve these budget resolutions. Mr. Collins, is there anything in here that we,
Real quick, again, it seems like we're getting more and more resolution. We have a lot of grants, a lot of things going. The first one, obviously, $1.8 billion. That was in the GP budget with the innovation school model, but until we get the funds, we can't budget. So once they're budgeted, the funds were in the original budget, but they were not coded this way. So that's all that innovative school model. The 28,000 for TISA, that's just, they wanted that separated for ACT testing. We found that out after the budget was passed. A budget is an estimate. So TISA, we received those additional $131,000 after the budget was approved. So then we had to include those in the budget. So that's what that is. I think the rest of them are just grants. You see the paid maternity leave, we've had that several times with 95,000. That's where we've had employees that have had babies, and now the state pays them 6 weeks. And they don't have to take sick leave, which is wonderful. The public school security grant, that's just a rollover. And then we've had a couple positions like the pre-K. We had one teacher leave. The teacher that took that had been here longer, different salary, so we had to adjust that. And then we had a couple of positions that we did not fill this year that were not coded as instructions, so we moved those funds in instruction. So that pretty much covers them all. The one thing on the safety pilot grant, we did not get that. We always just put that in there in case we do get it. It'll be there, but we did get notification that we did not receive that, so you can just remove that from your package. Any questions?
did anybody get the innovative schools, the 1.8 million? Did anybody get one of those? Because I have a whole sample.
Oh, did you get them all?
Send some down.
There was a lot of adjustments. There was a lot of adjustments in resolutions, so I don't know.
And I
There
know
was
that-
more than my hand in the packet, but I'll take the blame. How many times have we had the innovative school model approved this week, Randy?
Is there any further discussion on the budget resolution motion? If not, we will have a roll call vote on these. Ms. Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
Mr. Hargis,
Yes.
Mr. Livingston,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds, Mr. Hyatt,
Yes.
Ms. Cannon,
Yes.
Ms. Arnold,
Yes.
Mr. Hedge,
Yes.
Mr. Mills,
Yes.
Ms. Douglas, Mr. Marks,
Yes.
Mr. Peach.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 12 yes.
12 yeses, that motion has passed. All those budget resolutions have passed. Next on the agenda is the director's report.
Actually, we didn't get it. First of all, we have 3 special guests in the back, and Max, if you will lead the way up, Max Wright, Gene Petrino, and Rebecca Petrino. And I had asked Michelle, and I want y'all to know you're not gonna have to talk, but they come to show you the new band uniforms that you helped purchase last year. I know River and Elizabeth and the kids are really proud of them. And for those of you that were not here earlier when we introduced Elizabeth, I mean, our band has took tremendous strides in the last couple of years. And these are 3 very important reasons that we're headed in the right direction. So again, June and Rebecca and Max, thank y'all for taking a night out of your Monday to show the board how nice those uniforms are, and we can't wait to see you in competition and on Friday nights. So thank you so much.
Don't ask them a question, they were gonna ask you a question, so what's your, get the picture made, don't ask you a question.
Okay, ready? 1, 2. Thank you.
What do you play? What do you?
Oh, I'm in front ensemble. I play percussion. I sit right in the front.
Okay, I'll be looking for you. What about you? Who do you?
I'm the drum major. I conducted.
I thought, let me see, your uniform any different?
Yes.
Yes.
I thought it was, that's really nice, because it's sleep. You-
Play brass.
Okay. And I told the River last year, I don't have any with them last year, but it's the best I've heard the band in a long time. So y'all are doing good. So, and I think this year, I think you doubled in number also, is that correct?
Oh, that's right.
It's about 10 people.
Yeah, that's good though. Congratulations there, so I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
Thank you. That's very nice.
Hey, you look good too.
That's my boy.
Four match.
Yeah, she's embarrassing you now, dude.
He's used to it.
You gotta embarrass what you can.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Thank you, school board, for stepping up for our students like you always do.
Yes, thank you very much.
Next thing, if you went by Briarwood, I don't have to tell you this, Mr. Mills is up there about every day running. The roof project is underway. As I put in your memo, it's been a little frustrating. We rain, if they have a certain percent of rain, they had to work. Obviously, it's been hot. They did work last week, but I thought I seen somebody in the back, but Mr. White said he didn't think they did, so. They're saying it's a 10 to 12 week project, but I'm afraid if the heat doesn't let up a little, it may take a little longer, but it already looks neat on I think it's the 500 pod, it's either the 3 or 500 that's already have a white roof. And so hopefully we'll get that done in 10 or 12 weeks. Junior high roof, are we still good? Just academic center? But where we patched is
So far.
We haven't had a lot of rain, but when we have a big one, usually it will show. Now, Briarwood's not, if it rains, we have to send the whole farm over to keep the trash cans empty, but we're working as fast as we can. C8, Camden Elementary, I just need to know if you would like for me to continue the conversation with ESG and maybe have this come back to give us more information. You don't have to do that now, but I do think we need to have further discussion if that's something we want to do. I think the first thing is have Mr. Holland, and I may try to go with him, go to Bolivar and look at one of the schools that they're renovating. And I know the director there pretty well, so I'll get that scheduled and go down. And if you'd like to go, I'm sure they would welcome you as well, so I'll let y'all.
Road trip, folks, road trip.
Road trip. Everyone in this room, plus all our staff members and all our students, we've had a really good 2 days of school. Traffic. I've been up here for 24 years and traffic's just traffic on the first few days of school. It's, as I used to tell my dad, just don't get out at 7:30 to 8 and don't get out from 2:30 to 3:30 and everything will be okay. But, it has been a nightmare, but it's always a nightmare the first week or so. But with exception of that, really 2 good days, and thank you to everyone involved. Test scores, if you've seen, there's still a lot of preliminaries out there. They're not where we want them to be, but there's plenty of positives that we can build on, and we will continue to work on that. I always tell our staff, as long as I'm here, test scores are important, but they're not all that we're about. We're a lot more about our kids, but we also take these very seriously, and we will continue to work to improve those. But I encourage you and tell you as a board, I'm not going to say there might not be some test scores better, but I am confident, and we're in the schools all the time. Our teachers are working hard. We're looking at ways to improve those, and as Mr. Armstrong and Ms. Milner said, we just got to find that click. But I do not want that to be a negative, because we're still about where we've been for years. We're kind of right there at average, and we'll never be happy with average, but we'll continue to improve. So I just wanted to say that, because I know that's coming through the media, and you'll see those things. Cost board meeting, August the 15th in Nashville. I'll be out of the office, but as always, if you need me, feel free to call or send a text. September meeting will be Tuesday, September the 3rd, due to Labor Day. And then with that said, if Mr. Keith Peach would come up. And if you know, this is Mr. Peach's last school board meeting. So, thanks to Dr. Shannon for putting this together. We had to put a little red devil twist to it. And it says Benton County Schools presented to Keith Peach, District 6 School Board Member, in recognition of 8 years of dedicated service to the students of Benton County, August 1st, 2016 to September 1st, 2016 to August 31st, 2024. Congratulations, Keith. And I will say this. Keith and I were friends before he come on the school board, but Keith, as a 6th district, he definitely kept those kids in Big Sandy at his heart. It's in his heart. He's been great to work with. Y'all know Keith, he's not as good a guy as you'll meet, but when it comes to school board member, it's been a pleasure to work with him. We're sure gonna miss you. And we understand you're a little busy with your new endeavors, but on behalf of the board, all the students, staff of Benton County Schools, Keith, we just like to thank you for your dedication to our students and our school system. So thank you.
I appreciate it.
And then the last thing I have to share is just please continue to keep Lori Travis and Travis' family in your prayers. We've had a difficult year when it comes to employees, but for those of you that knew Travis, he was just special to everybody. And we were fortunate to have him in our school system for 4 years and talk to Lori once or twice, but just continue, because those days, they continue to be hard, and she needs our prayers every day. So please keep her, the elementary family, and our school family in your prayers. We're moving forward, and I think the best way to say it is when they had their staff meeting at elementary, they said, how can you be sad when we were fortunate enough to have Travis? If you've seen their shirts they wore, I think that sums Travis up. It's got a big line on it, and their motto at Camden Elementary this year is love like Travis. So I think that's a great start to our school year. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Chair. I'm getting better.
Are there any visitors? Do we have anybody on the list? Nobody on the list as a visitor. Some reminders, one reminder, next meeting is Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2024, at 6 p.m. right here in our conference room. With no further business.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.